Hello. Well, I'm going to have a little chat on my own today, just because Paul's finishing off working and then he's going to start preparing for his evening and our evening. So at some point he'll wander by. He may wave, he may not. I don't know. He's heard me say that. So he probably won't now, just to annoy me. But now I've said that, he probably will. Anyway, none of this is what the video is going to be about. This video is going to be all about what the hell is going on with Doctor Who. I'm a fan of Doctor Who. I'm not like a die-hard fan. I can't quote scripture and verse on whatever happened in season 17 and stuff like that. I don't even know when season 17 was. Was there a season 17? There must have been. Anyway, but that's just not the sort of fan I am. I just really love the show. And I've been following a lot of stuff on YouTube. I've been following stuff on Twitter. I'm going to come to that a bit later on. I will put a spoiler warning before I talk about anything to do with anything that's got spoilers in, clearly. But I'm just very, I don't know, a bit sort of like, about some stuff. And that's largely the fact that everything is either about Ncuti Gatwa or about filming for the 60th or announcements that have been made for the 60th. Obviously, they've made some casting announcements because they had to, because they were going to be filming on streets, and otherwise, people like us fans go out, take pictures, and suddenly it's in the sun because they trawl all the forums and things. That's where they sort of get all their thing from, because lazy journalism, and it just becomes a whole snowball. And there's just so much on that, and there's all this talk of theories of who could be what and what this could mean, and could it be that, and if it's this person, is that character, does it mean that XYZ is happening? And there's some solid people who've got, I can see the train of thought and it makes sense. Whether they'll be right or wrong, who knows? But it all just makes me think, hang on a minute, Jodie's got an episode left. Can we just not leap so far ahead? I know there's a lot of fans. The current run hasn't been that popular. It's not been my favourite era of Doctor Who. I've enjoyed a lot of it. I've absolutely loved the performances from the main cast. I think Jodie is a fantastic Doctor, and I'm busting to see her do more regular, solid work as the Doctor. Whether that day will come, who knows? But you look at things like the Rosa Parks episode, which I think is possibly easily in my top 10 of Doctor Who episodes ever. I really enjoy that episode. And I think everything about it's done so well, apart from there's the weird kind of time traveler guy from Plotline that just never gets picked up ever again. That was a bit. But yeah, everything else about the actual historical stuff in the episode and the situation the Doctor and the fam find themselves in, I thought was phenomenal. I thought also it kind of overshadowed then Demons of the Punjab, because Demons of the Punjab, Partition isn't something I know an awful lot about. I'm obviously learning a little bit more now through watching Ms. Marvel. And so I found that a very interesting historical episode, and I think it was just placed wrong. Like 2 or 3 weeks after Rosa, it kind of just got lost. Should probably have been held back a season. And then when you got into the other seasons and stuff, Flux I wasn't a massive fan of, as people know. Loved the New Year's Day episode with is it Ashlyn B? Yeah, that was absolute class. Loved that. We won't mention the Sea Devils because it was just terrible. But I've got a lot of hope for this final episode. There's the trailer looks great. The very brief trailer we've had so far. I'm assuming the marketing will ramp a bit nearer the time. But I just feel a bit like, can we not lose sight of the fact that we're still in someone? It just feels a bit disrespectful. I know they're filming, and I know that they have to film now for whatever reason, because it'll be sort of production and they're talking about these 3 specials. That's the other. No, I'll come to that later. So he's laughing at me. It's just a bit like, I don't know. I just think we're kind of losing sight of there's potentially one absolute cracking episode still to come, which will be Jodie's last. Who knows? I know lots of people are going to go, it's Chibnall, he's a hack, it's going to be shit. We don't know that, right? Let's just wait and see. It may well be. I think it's a 50-50. But I just feel a bit for like Jodie and Mandip, who've put in a lot of work over the last 4 years or so for that Doctor Who era, just to be kind of sideswiped just because certain people have been photographed and announced as coming back. It's just, I'm excited about what's happening for sure, but it's just a bit like, can we just... So, that's that a bit over. Now the spoilers are going to kick in, because I'm going to talk about the stuff that's overshadowing this final episode. So, don't know anything about 80s comics. I've got no bastard clue who beat the Meepies. No idea. Don't know. Never heard of it. But looks fun. And then it's those warriors. Can't remember their name. Again, not an era or a medium I know anything about. So that's the thing. But then there's lots of people going, we think there's going to be 3 specials next year. And I'm just like, what? What do you mean think? We know there's 3 specials, don't we? I was told that a good year ago by a friend of mine involved in sort of these things. He said, there's going to be 3 specials across 2023, and then the final one will be on the 60th itself, the November one. So I just thought that was like announced and a given, and all of a sudden people are going, it's a theory. Maybe it hasn't officially been announced, but I've always thought it was going to be 3 specials, and there are going to be many returning faces, not just David and Catherine. So that's something to look out for. I mean, pinch of salt time, but then there's all this sort of, is it really the Doctor, and then or is it the Celestial Toymaker sort of interfering, so it's not actually real? So it's I don't know. I just think it's quite interesting, but I think it's weird that it's kind of everywhere. I remember, back in 2008-9, I living in South Wales, I would go along to the filming and I would sort of watch stuff happening, and it was all good fun, and there was some great people involved. And then I didn't really see much of Matt's filming apart from his very last episode. I saw a little bit. And then I'd sort of pop along and see some of the Peter Capaldi stuff, especially if they were in Caerphilly Castle, which they were reasonably frequently because that was closer to where I lived. It's just the whole set reporting thing seems to have just gone completely fucking nuts. And just show some fucking respect, because not everyone wants to know everything, and it's just everywhere. It used to be a time where if you silenced the Twitter hashtag, you didn't see any of the spoilers. And that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case at the minute. I've got lots of people getting spoilers thrown in their face that will happily sit and wait and know nothing until broadcast. And that's fine. Horses for courses. I've been involved with things where I've known more or less the entire beat of an entire episode just from watching filming and little things I've read and things I've seen and things I've been told. And then I've gone into lots of episodes completely blind. And I can't say it affects my enjoyment one way or the other if it's a good episode. Get good writing, good production, and good performances, and it kind of doesn't matter. Sometimes it's nicer to not know, though. I've got to admit, I've kind of grown away from sort of being a bit of a spoiler person. But yeah, it just feels like at the minute, I've gone looking for some stuff. I've been sort of intrigued to see what's going on when I've seen other people mention things, just because I'm nosy, really. That's all that boils down to. But it just seems like it's just everyone like, just chill the fuck out, will you? Just chill the fuck out, because it's possibly, they're saying they're nearly next year, right? So let's say they stick with New Year's Day. So the first special we get after Jodie's regeneration is New Year's Day, for example. And then you get one, spring summery, and then you get the 60th in like the autumn / going into winter, because it's tail end of November. Just let it be. Let it be what it'll be. It's just don't worry about it. If you want to go down and watch some filming, crack on. It's a great experience. I would never deny that. There's something extremely thrilling about seeing what appears to be nothing. You've got no context, and you've got no music, you've got no effects. You're not looking at it as the camera looks at it. You're off to one side and halfway down the road. But there is something quite thrilling about seeing it in person. And I'll never forget the first time I saw Dalek in situ. They were filming for The Stolen Earth, and it was the scene where they round up those people in the street and the guy throws the brick and all the rest of it. And I was tucked down. Actually, the same alleyway later on in the episode, you see Wilf and Sylvia crouched behind the bollards when they first meet up with Rose. That's where we were all stood at that point watching the film at like 1 a.m. And the Dalek was like on like train tracks, because that's what they move them on when they're not in the studio on nice smooth floors, and all the extras were being, and there was like loads of crew, and the director was there doing his bit and all the rest of it. And I don't know who was in the Dalek, if it was Barnaby or whatever, but just between takes, this Dalek turned and looked at the little group of us standing watching, and I physically cowered. Its eye stalk fell on me, and I went. It was the most ridiculous thing ever. I mean, I would have been nearly 40 at that point, and shit myself at a Dalek when I could see his feet sticking out the bottom between the train tracks. I mean, how ridiculous! But it's as a fan, it's a wonderful thing to experience, no matter what you're a fan of. If you get the chance to see him filming Marvel movies in the streets, or whatever it is, you also realise just how slow film and television production is. It is a long ass process. So yeah, so go and enjoy it. But let's just try and not shove it everywhere, and let's try not to be, look what I've seen, look what I've got. Let's not be spoiled brats about it. Look, I've done it in the past. I understand the rush, right? I get it. I understand how exciting it is to know something. But it just feels like it's getting out of hand. And we've still got a Jodie episode to go. So can we all, Doctor Who fans, just calm the fuck down? Is that all right? Thanks, kids.